Hey guys, how's it going? Brandon here and welcome back you guys to another Pokemon team builder. Today we are continuing on our mono water team builders with Generation 5 or 5.5 as I like to say, Pokemon Black 2 and White 2. Now of course, before we get today's team builder underway, quick disclaimer just to say that this is opinion based. There are plenty of different water types in this game compared to Pokemon Black and White, obviously with this generation adding sort of a national dex aspect of there was more variety of ones from other generations, so there's plenty to choose from. I'm just giving you guys 6 that I feel will help you get through the game. Of course you can swap any in and out as you please in terms of movesets, natures, anything you want to do, but if you do change anything, definitely make sure to do me a favour and put it in the comment section below. And before we get this underway, just to say that 90% of my viewership aren't subscribed to the channel, so if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button with notifications turned on so you do not miss a team builder. We're trying to upload a team builder every Sunday at the moment. We're also live streaming during the week as well, so I'm trying my absolute best to get this content out to you guys as best and as professionally as I can. But with that being said, let's get on with this. Alright then you guys, so first up of course naturally is going to be our starter, which is in this case Samurott. Now if you guys saw the last mono team video we did on Black and White, I went with a special Samurott. This time around I've swapped it and I've actually gone with a physical one this time around. You know, again, just a bit of a variety for you guys. I like to give you guys something a bit different each time and sort of just adapt and change a few things. Some things are the same in this team builder. There's one thing that's the same from the last one, but I did want to do a different bit of variety. So this time around, I've gone with a physical Samurott, sorry, with Waterfall X's of Return and Sword Stance, Adamant Nature, of course, Adamant to boost up that base 100 attack. You can go Jolly. This is the one member of the team where I was like, Adamant or Jolly's really personal preference. I was at the point where I was sort of just like, well, its special attack's a little bit higher, so let's give it that Adamant so people aren't complaining to me that because its special attack's higher, it should be a special attacker. If you want to run a special one like we did before, of course, go for it. Surf, Scald, Grass Knot. Ice Beam's actually accessible in this game. Other like the last one was post-game. This time it's actually during the game, which is really nice for this team builder. But as we know, Samurott is a very solid starter to use. Actually being able to be a mixed attacker is quite nice. You could run a mixed one with a neutral nature with both those attack stats being above 100. Base 95 HP and those defenses are decent, can take a physical hit quite well. And 70 base speed is fine for in-game, depending on levels and IVs and EVs and all that sort of stuff that goes into in-game teams. You should be outspeeding most of the stuff anyway, naturally, unless it's like a base 1010 Mon, for example. 1010, 110 speed Mon, for example, like that thing probably will outspeed you. But yeah, a very hard-hitting Mon. Click his Sword Stance, then you've got Stab, Waterfall, possible flinch charges, X's are just for a bit of coverage and return for a hard-hitting neutral type move on a lot of types. It's our first team member, it's fantastic. It's our starter, it's Samurott. On to Pokemon number 2 then you guys, and when people think of water types, I guarantee that 90% of them, if you tell them to give you 5 water types, Vaporeon will definitely be one of those 5 that they say. Obviously Gen 1 OG water type. Yeah, the access to Eevee in this game actually gave a lot of in-depth when it comes to variety in team builders, obviously with all the evolutions being accessible in the game and all of them being very good in-game, it just gave that access to it. And Vaporeon is a mon that really it should be a staple of any mono water team. It's great in-game, it's one of the best water types because it's bulky and it hits hard, it does everything it needs to do. Base 65 speed means it's not that slow either. I mean 65 is still quite slow, but modest nature as well to boost up that 110 special attack. This thing hits really hard, and base 130 HP means that it really doesn't care about taking hits either. Surf, Ice Beam, Shadow Ball and Toxic. Toxic's probably the only one move there you might want to go back and forth because getting Toxic, it's not post game, but it is quite annoying to get. If you guys want to find out how to get any of these TMs, do a quick YouTube search, and there is a whole guide on where to find every TM in the game and post game or before post game. Toxic was one of the ones that was really difficult. Shadow Ball's quite early on to get. Ice Beam, like I said, is actually before the Elite Four, which is nice, and Surf, standard stab type move. Yeah, this thing just does really well. You can get an Eevee as a gift in Castelia City, but you can also find them in the grass as well, so it depends what kind of method you want to get. If you want to get the free one, that's fine, and just soft reset for the nature. That's probably the easier method to go. I didn't actually realise there was a gift one until way later when I'd actually grinded and found one in the grass, which I think you can only do through shaking grass as well, so that might be the way to go. But it's up to you. Fantastic team member, of course, staple of any mono water team normally, if it's accessible. It's our second team member, it's Vaporeon. On to Pokemon number 3 then, you guys, and we have that one thing that I've kept exactly the same from the last team build, and that's our Basculin set for this team. Definitely want to make sure that you get the adaptability Basculin. I said that last time because it is really going to mean that Aqua Jet and Waterfall are going to hit just that much harder, plus the adamant nature on that base 92 attack. This thing is massively slept on. Crunch and Return, the same moveset I've gone with this time because it's just easy, accessible, and it works. And because Basculin actually really struggles in the moveset department, but those 4 moves just do enough that it's viable and it's good, and that I don't actually have to put a meme pick in this team. Really overlooked Pokemon. I said this last time. People really sleep on this thing for the amount of damage it can give out. Lower tier competitive, it's one of the top hard hitters in lower tiers, and it really does surprise people. You can run a Rock Head with Double Edge if you really want to go down that route. Obviously it's not stab, which is why I always recommend the adaptability Waterfall one. Waterfall you do get near the end of the game, so if you can get something like Aqua Tail, I don't know if it gets Aqua Tail, possibly something like that. But even then, base 80 special attack isn't terrible. If you wanted to run a neutral one and run Scald and Surf on this thing, you probably could. Again, adaptability Scald from base 80 special attack is still going to do a lot of damage. It is really slept on. If you haven't used Basculin in either of these teams, I do recommend that you give it a go, at least one of them, because it is really underrated and a very good member of the team. It's our 3rd team member, it's Basculin. On to the 4th team member, you guys, and this one was a given considering it's the background and on the thumbnail itself. We have Swanna back again for another team, but I just think that in-game this thing's really overlooked. And one of my favourite water types to come out of Generation 5. I know obviously with the stigma of water flying and really weak to electric is really annoying, and on this team it is a little bit harder to use considering that we don't have Seismitoad this time around, we don't have a water ground. But then if you want to go and try and find a Gastrodon or a Quagsire, I don't actually remember if they're in game or not, they possibly could be, so I'm just letting you know, no, they're not on this team. But obviously that's another replacement that you could use. There's so many water types to grab in this game that there's the possibilities are, I was going to say endless, but obviously it is endless at one point. Surf, Hurricane, Ice Beam, Rain Dance. I actually have put Ice Beam on this one instead of Roost because, again, like I said, Ice Beam is accessible this time round. Rain Dance is really nice on this thing. If you can set up a Rain Dance to get the rain up. I think this generation was the last generation before weather disappeared. So rain's going to be up for the entirety of the battle, which is going to boost Surf in the rain. And Hurricane's not going to miss, which just makes this thing hit really stupid hard with Modest Nature as well to boost up that 87 special attack. 98 speed, it's quick enough as it is, it's going to outspeed a lot of things in game just naturally anyway, so Modest is the way to go. Ducklets are really easy to obtain because it's the only encounter on the bridge. It's just a given. For me anyway, I feel like when playing through these games, if you're doing Mono Water, it's definitely something to grab. If you want to use it as your flyer as well, because you don't want to use HM slaves, and that's that option as well. If you want to grab yourself just a Ducklet, if you want to grab 2, one that you use in game, one as a HM slave, it can learn all Surf, Dive, Waterfall and Fly, so it can be a really good HM slave as well. So if you want to grab 2 of them for those reasons alone, you have them. Obviously you don't need a Surf slave in this sense because 3 of the mons have Surf on them, but I'm just telling you guys a bit of information on the games itself, it's fine. But this is our 4th team member, it's fantastic. Please use the Swanna if you haven't already. Like I said, 4th team member, it is Swanna. Alright then you guys, on to Pokemon number 5, and we have Lapras, a staple again of the Water Mono team builders because of just how good it is. If you guys have been watching the live streams, again, little plug of the live streams, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on so you don't miss some live streams. We were playing through our Pokemon Charizard team builder, and this thing was the MVP by a landslide. Sorry it's the shiny one, my regular Lapras sprite was really pixelated and horrible and I don't know why. This thing, I will say though, again, disclaimer, this is the hardest mon to get on the team. The way to find it is you need to go to the Village Bridge, which is a section of Pokemon Black 2, White 2 that is actually in the main game, not post-game. And you need to find the Rippled Water, which is like the Rustling Grass, but for water, and there's actually only a 5% chance to get it, but it's worth it because it's a Lapras, and it's really good in-game. One of the best water in-game types. Surf, Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Psychic. It just runs through a lot. You could replace probably Starmie with this and use the same set for Starmie if you wanted a bit more offense. I like the bulk because a nice bit of bulky offense is quite nice in game sometimes. Base 130 HP, tanks hits like for days. Modest to boost that base 85 special attack, so it's even higher. Base 80 defense, really nice defense. 95 special defense, takes special attacks like it's nothing. Base 60 speed, again, it's not the quickest, but it's going to outspeed some things in game depending on level and everything else. Like I said, it's ridiculous how good this thing is. This thing linked with Vaporeon is just really funny because you just don't die. Things just drop in front of you and you can just Hyper Potion and everything else, and just, yeah, things just don't end up KOing your team because of how much bulk you have on it. We've got the offensive like Basculin, Swanna and Swampert, and then you've got the bulk of Lapras and Vaporeon, and just really nice synergy of special attackers and physical attackers, and it just all works really nicely. Lapras is fantastic. Please use one if you have never used one. It's our 5th team member. It's Lapras. On to the last team member then, you guys, and again, for some reason my normal sprite was very blurry, so we've gone with the shiny nice pink one. We've got Sharpido. This thing I always say has very much Gyarados syndrome, which is before Generation 3 is complete awful, because Water and Dark were special, and base 95 special attack, okay, it's not as bad, but this thing, once the physical special split comes in, this thing really comes into a league of its own in terms of an actual, like, attacking presence. Adamant Nature to boost up that already base 120 attack. Base 95 speed is fine. If you want to give it Jolly, then by all means go for it. But giving this thing Adamant Nature means it's the hardest hitting member of the team by a goddamn mile. Waterfall Crunch, Ice Fang, Poison Jab. Poison Jab just for a bit of coverage throughout the team. I did want to give it Earthquake, but unfortunately Earthquake's post-game. I got really upset when I found that out. Ice Fang, a bit of coverage, why not? Crunch and Waterfall both stab hard-hitting physical type moves. This thing's really good. In-game, one of the hardest hitting water types physically anyway. One of the hardest hitting physical water types up there with Gyarados. Yeah, this thing is just really, really good. People sleep on it. I always say, Generation 3 and before, like I said, don't use this thing. It's not worth it. It can't take a hit, but the reason that it's still here, and you probably think, oh, this thing's just going to die, you have Vaporeon and Lapras that are there to take the hits. This thing's here to kill everything, because anything that's slightly frail and also a glass cannon, Sharpido just shits all over. Absolutely just destroys everything in its path. You get this thing on the correct level and Adamant Nature, and just things will, honest to God, just use it and you'll see things do just drop like anything. I really wish that the Mega was accessible in-game, because Mega Sharpedo in-game would be ridiculous. Along with like Mega Beedrill and Mega Sharpedo, two of the hardest hitting Megas, if you could use them in-game, it would just be dumb as anything. Really, really good Pokemon. Please use a Sharpedo if you've never used one before. You are missing out on how good this thing is. So our final team member is Sharpedo. Alright then, you guys, that's going to be it for today's Pokemon Team Builder Mono Water in Pokemon Black 2, White 2. Let's quickly run through that team one more time. Of course, we have Samurott, Vaporeon, Basculin, Swanna, Lapras, and Sharpedo. If you have enjoyed today's video, definitely make sure to hit that like button down below for us to support the channel and the series. Click that subscribe button for all your team builder needs. We're bringing more mono team builders. We've got the remastered team builders going, where we're going to be remastering all of our old ones. We do live streams, shiny hunting, Renegade Platinum at the moment. Okay, we've got Sword and Shield DLC stuff as well. Team builder Let's Plays. We've got so much stuff going on the channel at the moment, so make sure you hit that subscribe button with notifications turned on. You can join our channel Discord. All the links you need are in the description down below. With that being said, you guys, I'm going to get out of it, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!